name is John Morgan Bright. I was born on February 2nd, 1817 here in Fayetteville to James and Nancy Bright, who had sons over there. Growing up, I attended schools in Fayetteville and Ben's Military School in Hillsborough, North Carolina. Afterwards, I graduated from Nashville University in 1839 and entered Transylvania College Department of Law, where I graduated and was admitted to a bar in 1841. That same year, one of my professors introduced me to his former student, Governor James Clark. Governor Clark was a fellow lawyer and upstanding diplomat, but most pressing for me, he had a beautiful daughter named Judith.
My name is Judith Clark Bright, and I was born in 1820 to James Clark and Sarah Forsyth. I was born in Winchester, Kentucky, and my father was a well-known and well-respected man in the state of Kentucky and in Washington, D.C. Throughout his life, he was a lawyer, a circuit court judge for the state of Kentucky, a member of the United States House of Representatives, and most notably, the 12th governor of Kentucky. He was introduced to John through his former mentor, Dr. James Blythe, and while Father was quite impressed with him, I was quite taken with him as well, and we were married in November of 1841 in Winchester before moving to Fayetteville to be with John's family. John and I were best friends, and we loved each other dearly. We devoted ourselves to our calling, him to law and me to our 9 children.
What's a guy supposed to do in Tennessee winters?
It's called a hobby. It's called a hobby.
Thank you. However, sadly, at the age of 35, I fell ill from typhoid fever and passed away on Christmas Eve in 1855, leaving John to care for our 9 children.
During our marriage, I served the Tennessee House of Representatives for 2 years and then returned to practice law in Fayetteville and joined the company of Judith and our children. All was well until 1855. The loss of Judith was agonizing for me, but even more so for the children. Following a period of mourning, I began to search for a second wife to soothe my loneliness and fill the needs of my children. After 2 years, I married daughter of a prominent Kentucky landowner named Zurilda, Buckner.
I'm sorry, 2 years?
At least he waited.
Not long enough.
At least she was in the ground. I mean, most men only wait maybe 6 months if you're lucky.
Anyway, I'm Zurilda Buckner, and I was born to Anthony and Isabella Buckner. But unfortunately, they passed away before they could find me a good husband. So my older brother, Henry, took it upon himself to find me a good man.
It's the only good thing he did.
It really was. He decided he would find John Bright for me, and I'm so glad he did because I married into a wealthy family thanks to his first wife. Anyway,
Not everyone has a silver spoon, honey. It's called work.
It's called being the daughter of a governor.
Anyway, I gave John the best 20 years of his life. A lot of people say that I'm the rebound wife since I'm the second one, but really I just call myself the favorite wife.
You're not.
No.
Anyway, I gave him 4 beautiful boys, and we lived a happy and beautiful life until I died at the age of 46 of consumption.
Yeah, what's a guy supposed to do in Tennessee winters?
It's called a hobby. You know, reading, writing, making things with your hands.
Snow.
Get over yourself. It's called self-control.
Zurilda and I faced trying times from 1861 to 1865. Not only was Fayetteville under federal occupation on and off throughout the Civil War, but I served as Inspector General under Governor Isham Harris with the rank of Brigadier General. With this position, it was my duty to ride across state, carrying messages and raising troops. I was also president of the Relief Association and spent a great deal of time tending to a wounded. Near the end of the war, I was captured and paroled. As terms for my parole, I was to go home and stay there. Unfortunately, due to my unpopular position in association with Governor Harris, who fled the country to Mexico,
He had the right idea.
I was well known and disliked by the enemy. On more than one occasion, my life was in peril in the hands of federal soldiers who blatantly ignored my parole and sought to kill me. By good fortune, I was able to escape these attempts and finally came home to find my home and farm desolation. I had very near nothing left but land, house, and one blind horse that Zurilda had befriended and tended to. After some persuasion, the local judge allowed me to practice law within the county, knowing a punitive disbarment following my activities during the Civil War. I was once again prosperous and elected to U.S. Congress for 10 years. However, in the midst of my tenure at Congress, tragedy struck again when Zurilda took ill. Zurilda's death affected me sorely. The children were all grown in their own homes, and without her company, I felt isolated and alone. Fortunately, in the throes of grief, I became more inclined with her sister Belle.
I'm Belle. I'm the third and final wife, born September 7th of 1835. As we all know, Brother Henry took very good care of Zurilda, but not myself. He left me unmarried. I was 42 when Don and I became very close. We married October 15th of 1879. I gave him 32 years. Quitters. Very good 32 years. But poor John here died in 1911 at 94, and I got 6 years of peace and quiet, dying in 1917 at 82.
How's a man supposed to keep money? 3 wives, 13 kids.
If burned a hole in your pocket, you couldn't save money to save your life. And besides, you married the picky sister?
She's talking about you. I'm not your sister.
I would hope not.
Well, most of you have been wondering why my tombstone is the largest. While I did have a sizable dowry, being the daughter of a governor, that was not the reason. The main reason was that during the Civil War, federal troops occupied Fayetteville and cut off the supply line from Nashville to Fayetteville, which meant that they couldn't import the fancier stones for the headstones. The stones had to be sourced more locally due to ease of access. And like we said, because John couldn't manage his money, they unfortunately were not afforded luxuries.
You could have controlled that.
I tried. Do you think he ever listened?
3 wives and 13 kids.
It's called a hobby and self-control. How many times?
Tennessee winners.
That's not an excuse. Not an excuse.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out.